Welcome, I'm Freddie, and in the last video I walked you through the digital bistro table model, the mechanism I use to build trust with clients without being glued to my laptop, which has taken us from 6 figures profit and on the way to 7 figures profit whilst working less. But here's the thing, you can have the best mechanism in the world, and if you can't prove it works, nobody will ever care. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how it works by walking you through a real client case study, one of more than 200 we have accumulated over the last couple of years. This is the story of Jasper, a sustainability consultant who went from completely unheard of to industry leading in less than a year. And he did it using the exact model I'm teaching you in these videos that our clients use and that we have used. So let's dive in. When Jasper came to us, he was stuck. He was incredibly smart, he knew his stuff. He'd been trusted by universities, huge conglomerates, and even the government. He had years of experience in sustainability consulting, and he genuinely cared about helping businesses reduce their environmental impact. But nobody knew who he was, and frankly, no one cared. He'd even written a book about his methodology, and he ran weekly webinars with a few attendees. He'd post occasionally on LinkedIn, generic kind of advice, the kind of stuff you'd see from 100 other consultants vying for the attention of the marketplace. Stuff like, here are 5 ways to reduce your carbon footprint, or sustainability isn't just good for the planet, it's good for business. That kind of familiar stuff. And the problem wasn't that the content was bad, it was that it blended into the noise. He was getting maybe 10, 20 views per post, a handful of likes from people who already knew him, but 0 leads, 0 sales conversations. A good number of referrals were still supporting his business though, and this is ideal because this proves that he's incredibly good at what he does. The problem, of course, is that it's just not predictable. It's not future-proofed. It's feast and famine territory. So when he did get on the calls with potential clients, he'd spend the entire time explaining what he did, why it mattered, and why they should trust him. Most of those calls went nowhere or stopped when he had to create a brand new offer for them because he needed to close this deal at any cost. And he was exhausted from it, frustrated, and he started to wonder if he'd made a mistake going out on his own. Exactly the same worry or frustration that I had when I first started my business. That's when he reached out after pulling up a chair at my own digital bistro table for a number of hours and consuming my content, building trust with me. And the first thing I noticed was that Jasper didn't have a positioning problem, he had a visibility problem. Or more accurately, he had a trust problem. You see, no one knew who he was, and even if they stumbled across his profile, there was nothing there that made him different to every other sustainability consultant or consultant in general. He hadn't articulated his mechanism. He hadn't shown proof that his approach worked. He was just posting thought leadership. He hadn't shared his worldview in a way that made the right people lean in and repel the wrong people. So we went to work. Firstly, the step 1 was we got him really clear positioning. We spent the first few weeks just getting crystal clear on who Jasper was for and what made him different. And it turns out Jasper wasn't just a sustainability consultant. He specialized in helping mid-sized manufacturing companies transition to circular economy models without disrupting their operations. It's very specific. It repels most people, but the ones looking for exactly that with the high budgets need him. That's the difference. That's something worth paying attention to if you're in the market for it. And he's damn good at it. Step 2, we created content that resonated. Once we had his positioning locked in and we built a content and branding strategy around it, it was not generic anymore. No generic sustainability tips. It was real frameworks, behind the scenes looks at how his clients actually were being helped. Controversial takes on why most sustainability initiatives fails, why we shouldn't plant trees if we want to save the planet. Every post had a point of view. Every post spoke directly to his ideal clients, whether it was written or video. Every post reinforced who he was and what he stood for. And every post used data to push on a specific bruise his ideal clients were experiencing. And step 3 was the digital bistro table. We built the digital library. We created his mechanism video, explaining his unique approach to the circular economy transitions. We filmed case study videos with past clients showing the results he delivered. We captured his worldview on why sustainability needs to be profitable to be sustainable. And we put it all online and drove traffic to the videos from LinkedIn and his newsletter. And now, when someone finds Jasper on LinkedIn, they don't just see posts. They've got an entire library that leads from one step to the next that they can dive into on their own time. They could spend 30 minutes, an hour, 4 hours, 5 hours getting to know how he thinks and taking a value away from him for free. They could build trust with him while he sleeps and before he even knows their name. So I can hear you asking, what happened next? Well, within 3 months, Jasper's LinkedIn engagement went from 10 to 20 views per post to 10 to 50,000 views per post. But more importantly for us, the quality of engagement changed. He started getting comments and messages from decision makers at exactly the kind of companies he wanted to work with. Those manufacturing directors, operation leads, sustainability officers at mid-sized firms. People weren't just liking his posts though. They were saving them, sharing them with their teams, sending him DMs, asking if they had time to chat. And within 6 months, he closed 3 major consulting contracts. These are 6-figure contracts. Not from cold outreach, not from ads, from people who found his content, watched his videos, and reached out already convinced he was the right person for the job. By month 9, he was turning down work because his calendar was so full. He was running a weekly webinar with consistently more than 200 signups because it became the only way he could manage the lead volume. And here's the best part. He wasn't working more. If anything, he was working less because the Digital Bistro Table was doing the heavy lifting. When people booked a call with Jasper, they had already watched his mechanism video. They already understood his approach. They'd seen the case study. They knew his philosophy, and they absolutely knew he was the right person for them. So the sales conversations became, are we a fit? Not, let me convince you I know what I'm doing. His close rate went from around 20% to over 70%. And he did all of this while living his life, spending time with his family, mountain biking in the forests, swimming in the lakes, taking weekends off, no longer being glued to his laptop for 12 hours a day. So why did this work so well for Jasper? Well, let me break this down for you. There's 3 key shifts. The first, he went from a generalist to a specialist. He had the courage to do this. Before, Jasper was a sustainability consultant, and after, he became the guy who helps mid-sized manufacturers transition to circular economy models. I'm not saying that would work for you. That's very specific. What I'm saying is, don't be worried about putting yourself in a niche where less people might buy from you. Because ultimately, that's where you're going to find most of the sales you need. Specificity sells. The riches are in the niches, or niches if you're from Europe and speak English. Whatever cliche you want to use, it's true. You know, when you try to be everything to everyone, you're invisible to everyone. When you own a specific lane, the right people find you. The second shift was he went from broadcasting to building trust. Before, Jasper was posting content and hoping it worked, like so many people do. They see content as an admin task and just make whatever they like and post it out into the world like some sort of old film post that you just put up on the wall and hope people see. And after, he was strategically building a library of content designed to answer every question, handle every objection, and demonstrate his expertise on the front end. Sales assets that would compound in value over time. He wasn't just showing up, he was creating a system that built trust on autopilot. This is his favorite part. Shift 3, from time for money to leverage. So the picture before was that Jasper's business required his time. Every lead required a call, every lead required persuasion and objection handling. Every sale required convincing. And after, his content was doing the work for him. He wasn't limited by the hours in his day anymore. His thinking was working for him 24 hours. That's leverage. That's what allowed him to scale without burning out. And here's what I want you to take away from Jasper's story. This isn't about having the perfect model. It's not about going viral or gaming the algorithm or posting at the right time or following trends. It's about building a system that lets people build trust with you on their own timeline. People want to feel in control. Jasper's success didn't come from working harder, it came from working smarter. From being clear about who he was, proving he could deliver and letting people get to know him through his content. And the beautiful thing is that this works for any industry, any service, any expertise. You don't need to be a sustainability consultant. You can be clear on your mechanism, confident in your results, and willing to share your worldview. The digital bistro table model works because it meets people where they are. Some people want to read a quick post on LinkedIn and then buy. Some want to dive into a 15-minute video on YouTube. Some want to binge everything you've ever created before they reach out. And when you give them all of those options, when you create a library they can explore at their own pace, where they feel in control, that's when the true magic happens. So if you're watching this and thinking, I want what Jasper has, you're in the right place. You just need to start with some clarity. Get specific about who you serve and what makes you different. Then build your library. The mechanism video first, case study video second, and worldview video. You do not need fancy equipment. You don't need a film crew or posh editing. You just need to capture your thinking and put it somewhere people can find it. That's it. Now, in the next video, I'm going to share my personal worldview, why I left Dubai, why I chose lifestyle over hustle, and why I believe you can scale to 7 figures profit without sacrificing your life in the process. If that sounds interesting, I'll see you over there, and thank you for watching.